Hey guys, today we're going to go over reversing a linked list. So, for those of you that don't know what a linked list is, essentially it is just a node that holds a value and a pointer to the next node within the list. So, as you guys can kind of see here, at the head, which is the beginning of our linked list, it has the value 1 with a pointer to the next node, which has the value 2, and a pointer to the next node, which has the value 3. And this just continues until it points to none eventually, which is our tail, which has the value 5, and again, a pointer to none. If you guys look down here, I kind of just created how it would pretty much look. So we would have node 1, right, would be equal to a value of 1, and then have a pointer to node 2. And you could just think of it as kind of like this arrow you see here that goes all the way to node 2. So it's just kind of like a reference, right? And how we would establish this is, as you see to the right of that, is node 1 dot val equals 1. So we're setting this value to 1. And then node 1 dot next equals node 2. So now it's like a reference, a pointer to that node. And essentially we just continue this till we get to the end of node 5, and then that pointer will actually just point to none. Now, you guys will see that I do have the solution up here. For those of you that already know the solution, great. For those of you that do not, it's pretty simple. We're going to go through it right now. That way we can just go a little bit more in depth. Okay, so now we're going to go over reversing a linked list. So basically the goal is, as you can see here, we're just going to start with this linked list that I have right here just because it's a little bit simpler. So all we want to do is reverse these arrows to point in the opposite direction. We want to break this link on the current tail that points to none. And then we also want to create a new link where our new tail, which is our current head, will point to none. Now, before we continue, we want to make sure before we point this first pointer from the head to none that we save this pointer, because if we don't, what's going to happen is we're going to break that link, kind of like you see right here, and we're essentially going to lose our linked list. So remember, this pointer points to the next node. So for simplification, I went ahead and just created this, as you guys see on the right. So node 1 equals the value 1, and a reference or pointer to node 2. Same thing, node 2 has a value 2, and then points to node 3. Node 3 has the value 3, and points to none. Okay, let's go ahead and go through our solution. So right now we're going to go ahead and set prev equal to none, and we want to set cur equal to our current head. So what does that mean? Cur basically holds the value of node 1, right? What does node 1 have? It has the value of 1 with a pointer to node 2. Prev is just going to point to none. That way we can swap out this first pointer to node 2 with none. So let's go through our loop. So while cur does not equal none, we'll continue through this loop and eventually return prev. So first, let's save our pointer. Next equals cur.next. So what is cur.next? Right now, currently cur.next is node 2. So all we're saying is next is going to be node 2. What does that have? It has a value of 2 and a pointer to node 3. Now we're doing cur.next equals prev. So remember, cur hasn't changed. It's still node 1. So what we're doing is when we're saying cur.next equals prev, we're basically saying, hey, we want to switch out this pointer and we want it to be the value that prev currently holds, which is none. So you can think of it as node 1 is 1 and now has a pointer to none. And prev equals cur. We're basically just saying, hey, we want it to equal this value. Cur equals next. Now we're saying, hey, cur can be updated to node 2, which holds the value of 2, and node 3. So let's go ahead and go through our second iteration. Okay, now we're saying, right, let's just update this right here too. That way we can kind of keep track of where we're at. So right now, node 2. All right, now we're saying next equals cur.next. So cur currently is node 2. So holds a value of 2 and our pointer to node 3. So now we're saying next is going to be node 3, which is a value of 3 and a pointer to none. All right, cur.next equals prev. So remember, cur still is node 2. So when we're saying right now, node 2 has a value of 2 and a pointer to node 3, we're saying we want node 3 to point to whatever prev is. And right now, prev is node 1. and holds a value of 1 and a pointer to none. So all we're saying is node 2 is now going to be 2 and a pointer to node 1. And now we're saying prev is going to equal this new updated value. Cur is going to equal next. So again, we're just pointing here, right? And now we're going to go through the next iteration of the list. All right, let's go ahead and go through our final iteration. So right now, cur is holding node 3, which holds a value of 3 and a pointer to none. And prev is currently going to be this, which is node 2, holds a value of 2 and a pointer to node 1. So now we're saying next equals cur.next. So basically we're saying next is going to be none, because right now, node 3, our pointer points to none. So cur.next equals prev. So now we're switching out that pointer to none to actually point to prev. So it's just going to point to node 2. So all that's happening is node 3 is now going to hold the value 3 and a pointer to node 2. Now we're saying prev equals cur. So we're saying prev equals this and cur equals next, which is basically none. So now it's going to evaluate this loop in our fourth iteration, and it's going to break the loop and not even run, because obviously cur currently equals none. So then after that, we're going to return prev, which is actually our new head, and currently prev holds this value right here. And this is essentially the solution for reversing a linked list. So if you guys are interested, you guys could pause the video and kind of look. I actually wrote down the iterations right down here of what's going on. I don't know if this might help you guys a little bit more kind of see what's happening. If you guys are still a little bit confused, go ahead and leave some comments. But we're going to go ahead and go over the LeetCode and test our solution. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and code up our solution now. So first we want to set our prev and cur variables up. So we're going to set it to none and the head of the linked list. We're going to loop through it. So while cur does not equal none, we're going to go ahead and save our pointer. So next is going to equal cur.next, right? And then we're going to go ahead and update our pointer to prev. And then we're going to go ahead and update prev equal to cur. And we're going to update cur to the next node in the list, which we save that pointer. So it's going to be equal to next. And eventually, as we go through this loop, cur will eventually equal none, and this loop will break. And that's when we can return prev, which would be our new head. Okay, let's go ahead and run the code. As you guys can see, the solution worked. So let's go ahead and submit it. And you guys can see that this is the optimal solution. Okay, you guys can go ahead and try to code this up yourselves. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment and I will try my best to answer it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.